All right, let's talk about one of the biggest shakeups happening in business right now. We're diving into how artificial intelligence is completely redesigning the finance team. And look, this is so much more than just making spreadsheets run faster. This is a fundamental change in how entire companies operate. So let's get right into it.
Just think about this for a second. What if your financial planning and analysis team, your FP&A team, wasn't just the group that tells you what happened last quarter? What if they could actually genuinely predict what's coming next, acting as a real guide for your entire business strategy? Well, that's the massive promise of AI in finance.
And that really gets to the heart of it. This isn't just about efficiency. AI is fundamentally changing what the finance department is. It's moving from being a reactive, number-crunching function in the back office to a proactive, strategic co-pilot, right there in the cockpit helping to steer the whole company. Okay, so let's dig into that idea. This strategic shift from the back office to a co-pilot. How exactly does a traditional finance team make that huge leap from just looking in the rearview mirror to actually helping navigate the road ahead?
And look, don't just take my word for it. This quote from Michael Schiebel over at Allianz Technology just nails it. He sees this not as a threat, but as a massive opportunity for finance leaders to transform their teams, to elevate them into truly indispensable strategic partners for the business.
So, how does this all actually happen? It's not some kind of magic wand. We can actually break down AI's impact on a modern FP&A team into three really distinct and powerful new roles. Let's take a look at what they are.
This really lays it out perfectly. A simple way to think about it is this. AI helps us do things faster by enhancing productivity, it helps us see things we couldn't before by generating new insights, and it helps us decide things more intelligently with much smarter decision support. So let's start with the most obvious one, productivity. Get this, an analyst can spend up to 45% of their time just cleaning and pulling data together. AI automates all of that. It can generate reports with natural language commentary, and it can even pre-populate up to 80% of a budget. That frees up your people to focus on the stuff that actually matters.
Now, the second role is where things get really, really cool. AI goes way beyond just automation. It actually generates brand new insights. It can comb through massive data sets and find hidden connections, or flag a problem weeks before a human ever would. And with virtual assistants, anyone in the business can ask a complex question like, hey, why did our operating expenses spike last month? And get a real answer instantly. And finally, we get to decision support. This is the true co-pilot function. We're talking about machine learning models that can produce forecasts with up to 99.9% accuracy. But even more important, AI lets you run dynamic simulations. You can model countless what-if scenarios. What if a supply chain breaks or demand suddenly shifts? And you can find the best path forward before it ever happens. Now, with all these incredible benefits, you'd think every single finance team on the planet would be jumping on the AI bandwagon. But the reality on the ground is way more complicated. Let's get into the human side of this and the very real problems that are slowing things down. Just take a look at this data. It's actually pretty shocking. Despite all the talk, a survey from early 2025 found that more than half, 53% of finance teams are not using AI at all, not in any capacity. The vast majority are still sitting on the sidelines. So what's holding them back? I absolutely love this quote from Dirk-Jan van der Wal at EY. It just perfectly captures the problem. So many companies have access to these powerful AI tools, it's like having a Ferrari in the garage, but they just keep driving their old familiar car because they don't have the vision or the strategy to actually use the new one. The tech is there, but the mindset just isn't. So these barriers really fall into three main buckets. First, you've got cultural resistance and just a lack of a clear vision from the top. Second, there are technical and trust issues, things like messy data or just not trusting the AI's output. And third, there's a huge gap in skills and resources needed to actually make this stuff work. So how do you get over these hurdles? Well, the key isn't trying to make one giant leap. It's about following a structured journey. And thankfully, there's a pretty clear roadmap that any team can follow to get there.
So, the FP&A Trends AI Maturity Model lays out 5 clear stages. You start at basic, where everything is manual and siloed. Then you move to developing, maybe running a few small experiments. At defined, AI gets integrated into specific workflows. Advanced teams have AI embedded across their planning. And finally, leaving organizations are using truly autonomous systems.
And this is just a brilliant way to think about it. Imagine this model is the dashboard in your car. It tells you exactly where you are right now, where you're headed, and what you need to do to get there. It's your guide from those basic manual processes all the way to the absolute leading edge of what's possible.
Speaking of the leading edge, what does that final destination, that level 5 maturity, actually look like? Let's take a little peek into the future, at a concept being called autonomous finance.
So autonomous finance is this future state where intelligent systems aren't just supporting decisions, they're actively amplifying them. You have AI agents that work independently to shrink the time between an event happening and you taking action, giving leaders a level of foresight that's almost unimaginable today.
This future is defined by some absolutely incredible capabilities. We're talking about agentic AI, systems that don't just analyze, they can take intelligent actions on their own. We're talking about forecasts that are always on, constantly learning and improving themselves. And scenario planning that moves beyond just asking, what if, to automatically telling you what to do now.
Okay, all this talk of autonomous systems and AI agents, it might sound a little scary. You might be wondering, does this mean humans are obsolete? The answer is absolutely not. In fact, it means the human element becomes more important and more valuable than ever before. Let's see how. This slide just lays it out so clearly. The traditional analyst was bogged down in manual tasks and reporting on the past. But the new AI-enabled strategic partner, they're focused on much higher-level work. They're challenging the AI's assumptions, they're shaping strategic conversations, and they're telling compelling stories with data. And that's the bottom line. AI is brilliant at handling the what, the number crunching, the data processing, finding the patterns. And that frees up human professionals to focus on the two things technology can't do, asking why something is happening and deciding what's next. That is the human edge. And that leaves us with one final thought. As the machines take over more and more of the routine calculations, the single most valuable skill you can possibly have is curiosity. So the real question isn't whether AI is going to take your job. The real question is, what new, more important questions will you choose to ask?